Greetings from South Korea. I am Arirang News AI anchor. Here is the news-making headlines today. The White House says negotiations with Iran are ongoing and productive, despite Tehran publicly denying that any talks are taking place. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, speaking on Wednesday, declined to share details but warned that some reported information is inaccurate and stressed the sensitivity of the discussions. She also warned that U.S. President Donald Trump is prepared to escalate if Iran refuses to compromise, while the Central Command reported its strikes have hit more than 10,000 targets and weakened Iran's military capabilities. Officials say the conflict could be relatively short-lived, with a possible resolution in 4 to 6 weeks as ceasefire efforts continue alongside plans for Trump's mid-May summit with Xi Jinping. Iran says it has no intention of holding direct talks with the United States but is reviewing an American proposal to end the war. According to Iranian state media on Wednesday, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi stressed that exchanges of messages through mediators do not mean negotiations with Washington. Earlier in the day, media reports from Iran said Tehran would reject a U.S. ceasefire offer and that the country had instead presented its own conditions for ending the conflict. Iran's five-point counter-proposal includes a demand for sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz, the world's most critical oil shipping route. Meanwhile, the Associated Press reported that Iran has received a 15-point peace plan from U.S. President Donald Trump. The U.S. president said the negotiations are underway, but Tehran has denied that any direct talks are taking place. President Lee Jae-myung presided over an emergency economic meeting this morning to mitigate the impact of the Middle East war on the local economy. Before the closed-door meeting, he once again called for thorough preparations, including an extra budget and monitoring of fuel price collusion. He also asked the public to join efforts to save electricity, citing potential financial losses at a concerning level as power bills remain frozen. The previous day, the Blue House set up an emergency economic situation room, and the Prime Minister's office created a pan-governmental response team. And also to address the economic impact of the Middle East conflict, South Korea's government announced at a meeting with the ruling Democratic Party this morning that it will submit a supplementary budget to the National Assembly on March 31st. Officials said the plan is aimed at easing high fuel costs, stabilizing livelihoods, and supporting industries hit by rising prices. The proposal includes backing a fuel price cap, expanding aid for vulnerable groups, and investing in supply chains and energy transition. The government added that the budget will be funded without issuing additional debt, while urging swift parliamentary approval to minimize further economic damage. A senior U.S. diplomat says Washington is conducting an extensive review of a bilateral agreement linked to South Korea's push to acquire nuclear-powered submarines. Speaking at a House Foreign Affairs Committee hearing on Wednesday, Undersecretary of State for Arms Control and International Security Thomas Denenu said the effort follows a joint fact sheet issued in November that confirmed U.S. approval for Seoul's submarine project and outlined close cooperation, including possible nuclear fuel sourcing. He added that the Pentagon is handling infrastructure issues while the State Department reviews fuel-related matters, while also reaffirming the U.S. commitment to extended deterrence for South Korea. That is all from me today. Thank you for watching.